Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvina vadhitamastu mavid vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. The worm, when it continuously meditates upon the mother wasp, it becomes the mother wasp, or it becomes the wasp. Meaning what? When we can continuously, without any distraction, keep our attention to the self, then we abide in the self. So that is samadhi abhyas. But we have seen yesterday, as long as our mind is attached to something in the world outside, so this can never happen, because the mind would always be distracted. So only one who chooses the Lord and Lord alone, him alone the Lord chooses. Meaning, we have to be totally dedicated to the pursuit of the one without the second. Yes, in the Vivahara, in the world, things come and go. Yes, you have got some duties which you have to perform. All those things are there. But our attention should be on that and that alone. That is what we have studied in the verse 359. We will chant again. Sati sakto naro yati Sadbhavam heka nishtaya Kitako bhramaram dhyayan Brahmaratvaya kalpate. Sati sakto naro yati. When the man is attached to the self and self alone, the truth and truth alone, satbhavam he becomes that. Ekanishtaya. This word ekanishtaya is very important. By continuously giving attention to that one. Like how kitako bhramaram dhyayan brahmaratvaya kalpate. The kitaka, the worm, continuously looking at the mother wasp, itself becomes the wasp. There, why it is continuously looking? Because the mother may sting any time. See? For the humans, for us, mother gives kisses. The wasp, they also kiss, it seems, in their own way. So, this worm, out of pain, continuously looks at the mother, and it gets transformed into a wasp. A beautiful example. See, you cannot think of any other example to drive this point, In Samadhi Abhyas, what happens? So this is most beautiful actually. Now, moving on to the next verse. The verse number 360. Kriyantarasaktimapasya kitakaha Dhyayan yatalim hyalibhava mruchati Tataiva yogi paramatma tattvam Dhyatva samayati tadeka nishtya Samayadi tadeka nishtaya Kriyantarasaktimapasya kitakaha dhyayan yathalim helibhavamruchati tataiva yogi paramatma tattvam dhyatva samayati tadheka nishtaya. Kriyantara asaktim apasya kitakaha dhyayan yata alimhi alibhavam richati. Meaning what? Without getting distracted by any other activity. See, kriya means activity. Kriyantara asakti means attachment to activity. Apasya, giving up all the attachment to the external activity, whatever may be, and the pursuit of the sense objects or whatever in the world outside. Kitakaha, this worm, dhyayan, it's continuously meditating on what? Alim. Alim means the wasp. So he, alibhavam richati, when continuously meditates on that, it becomes that. Alibhavam richati means it also becomes a wasp. So, very important thing. Giving up all other engagements, giving up all other desire-prompted activities, without getting distracted. This is very important. This is emphasized in the shloka. Without getting distracted. When the mind continuously meditates, this worm continuously is meditating on the mother wasp. So, alibhavam ruchati means it becomes that, the wasp only. Tata eva, likewise, the yogi paramatma tattvam dhyatva, when he meditates on the paramatma tattvam without any distraction, with one pointed attention, samayati tada eka nishtaya, because of his single pointed attention to the self, he himself becomes the self, or he abides in the self. Meaning he is no more an individual, a personality. The experiencer experienced gone, and he becomes the self means what? He rediscovers his true nature, his true self, and he abides in it. So in the Ashtanga Yoga, it is very clearly said. First Yama Niyamas, these are the basic disciplines, and afterwards proper asana. Asana means you have to keep the body intact without moving in a very comfortable posture for a long time. That is asana. And then comes pranayama. Pranayama means the breath control. Because when you control the breath, the mind is also controlled. So pranayama. And then comes pratyahara. Pratyahara means turning the mind from the sense objects, from the sense world to the self. And then comes dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Dharana means what? Dharana means the flow, like the flow of a ghee into the ghee. Dhara, it is called as that. Ore olukka. One sort of, same direction it flows. So, when the thought flows to the one self, dhara, dharana, and then happens dhyana, samadhi. Dhyana means mind gets very quietened. Samadhi means even the perceiver, the meditator is gone. So dharana is very important. Dharana means giving the mind's attention to one. This is dharana. Actually in Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna's beloved is Dhara. Dhara means what? Her mind is always flowing towards Krishna only. Nothing else. So that has only become Radha. When you say Dhara, 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 it becomes Radha. Like when you say Mara, 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 Rama. So this is Dharana. And then happens Samadhi, Dhyana and Samadhi. So when he attains samadhi, nirvikalpa means what? There are no differences between what? Between one who is meditating and the meditated upon. So he is now in the self, which is unbroken, undivided, and infinite. So this state is called as samadhi. So for that you need continuous attention. That is what is to be developed. In this age and time, our attention span is very, very less. And we get easily distracted. And the mind is always there to distract you with so many thoughts. Mood swings, And health also is another important factor. Nowadays, health is a factor actually. Because health also sometimes very not cooperative. And the mind, of course, is not at all cooperative. So, in this, we have to sit and meditate. Means it's a real thing. That is why we have to start early in life. When we say, okay, after 50, 60, we will see, no, it's very difficult. Like Nachiketa, yesterday we saw in that film, Nachiketas, very young, a child of 5, 6 years old. And Sri Shankara, when he started from his house, it was 8 years old. And imagine an 8-year-old boy walking alone in the forests, walking from where? From Kerala to Madhya Pradesh. Mahakaleshwar, right? How wonderful it is. And no fear. Omkareshwar. How daring he was. No fear, fearless. So, in the pursuit, we have to be not distracted. But now, every time we are distracted. So, we have to develop this concentration. We have to start early in life. And then sit. At least dedicate some time in the morning and evening. Sit and meditate. See, third course, this evening, 15-20 minutes, we will seriously take some meditation tips, give you some meditation tips, or guide you into some sort of meditation, right? Because we have now studied Samadhi also. So you may ask Swamiji then how to sit, how to go about. So a little bit we will try to guide. So this Samadhi is wonderful because there is nothing, there is only peace and there is only bliss. It is effortless. When the ego goes, there is nobody now, so it is effortless. As long as the ego persists, there is struggle. When he also goes, there is nothing. There is choiceless existence. Whether you want or don't want, that is the truth and that is the existence which is effortless, choiceless, objectless awareness. So that is Samadhi Abhyas. Now, moving on. Ativa Sukshmam Paramatma Tattvam Nastula Drishtya Pratipattum Arhati Samadhinatyanta Susukshma Vritya Jnatavyamaryair Atishuddha Buddhibhihi Ativa Sukshmam Paramatma Tattvam Nastula Drishtya Pratipattum Arhati Samadhinatyanta Susukshma Vritya Jnatavyamaryair Atishuddha Buddhibhihi Ati Sukshmam Paramatma Tattvam. This Paramatma Tattvam is Ati Sukshmam. Very, very subtle. Subtler than the subtlest. That's how they say this. So, na stula drishtya pratipattum arhati. It cannot be perceived with stula drishti, with the eye or with the ears or with the mind, they are all stula. Compared to the Atma, the self, they are all very stula. So with the gross mind, you cannot perceive the very subtle Paramatma. And Gurudev gives a beautiful example in his commentary. See, all of us, we watch or we see the lotus in the pond. Though we may appreciate, only the poet has got that eye to see the real beauty and the charm. And then he is inspired. So he brings out a wonderful poem. So even to appreciate the beauty of the tender, delicate, that lotus, which is so enchanting, so charming, you need that eye to see it. Is that not so? If you are in a hurry, then what is there? Yeah, there is a lily. What is there? Chomma papar. Yeah, there is a lily. So what? That is a lotus. So what? If you are this way, you can never see the beauty because you are occupied with something else, very gross. So this Atma, the self, is ati sukshma. So to appreciate it, the mind, the subtle, the instruments should become very, very subtle. Meaning now the instrument is tainted with rajas and tamas. So by the samadhi abhyas, what happens? We are trying to eliminate the rajas and tamas aspect, and more sattva is created. Meaning not distracted by anything worldly, we are focusing only on the self. That is samadhi, na? So what happens samadhi na? Atyanta sukshma vritya. We develop a very, very subtle sort of intuitive eye. Amala bodha chakshusha. It is said, na? Ati sukshma vritya. That vritti is ati sukshma. It is not actually a vritti also, but it is considered as a vritti. So ati sukshma vritya. Then what happens? Jnatavyam. You are able to comprehend. As I told you the other day, ati sukshma vritti also you can comprehend the glimpse of it, meaning the reflected one you can see. And then when you abide there you abide. So jnatavyam. Aryaihi. See, inge vandu parangle, the word used is Aryaihi. So it is a controversial sort of thing. Arya and Dravidya. It is not that. See, in Sanskrit, Arya means Uttama Purushaha. Means one, the best among the men only. Whoever is best among the men, they are best among the men only. So Aryaihi means the best among the men only. Shuddha Viddibihi, Shuddha Buddhibihi, with their purified intellect, can comprehend this self. Jnatavyam. See, it is not any race, Dravidian. See, actually this is created by the British to divide and rule. See, we fall for it. We go on dividing, ourselves. So, it is only realized by this. Best among the men means what? Who have disciplined themselves and who have got that chitta ekagrata, single pointed attention, and who have been leading a life of discipline, moderation. So they only can know the self. If you live a loose life, chomma, roaming everywhere and doing whatever you want, then this doesn't happen. So that is why it is said, Aryaihi Shuddha Buddhibihi, by the purified intellect, you gain this samadhi. So how to start with? To start with, we have to allocate some specific time in the morning and evening maybe, and even otherwise also, whenever you are inspired, and try to sit quietly. Without giving any value to any other thoughts, try to focus attention on the self. As I told you yesterday also, we may fail again and again because of our own vasanas, because of our own stupidity. But there is nothing called failure in this pursuit. So when you fall outside, you fall. When you fall inside, always you rise only. There is no fall inside. So therefore we have to practice it again and again. And it's a struggle. It's not an easy joke. It's not an easy thing. Because mind is like powerful, is compared to elephant, mad elephant. So we have to work on it. Our Swami, who groomed us, he used to compare this mind with, you know what? With a monkey. Not an ordinary monkey. The monkey which has been drunk monkey. Imagine, monkey itself is very restless, runs here there. When it is drunk, see, the other day I saw a shop, drunken monkeys. There is a chain of, you know that? In Chennai also. I was wondering, oh, inside whoever goes, they are drunken monkeys only. So the monkey also is fully intoxicated. And then, on top of it, it was bitten by a scorpion. Imagine how it would be. And then, it has been possessed by a ghost also. So our Swamiji used to exaggerate. Like that is our mind, sometimes horrible. We don't know what to do with it. We don't know what to do with it. Endlessly it troubles us. Howsoever you convince, use samadhanam when you say, it will not listen. No, it just revolts. So it is not a joke to tame the mind. That is why all these prayers are very important. See, whatever stotrams we are studying in the evening, they are all very important. By the devotion to the Lord, slowly and steadily we can tame the mind. See? Yesterday in that film, when that Annapurna Stotram was chanted, I was really thrilled because he could understand what they were chanting. At least 60% you cannot understand. I don't know whether 100%, at least 60%. So, those stotrams are very helpful. So, Ati Shuddha Buddhi Bihi, only with the purified intellect, which has reduced, which has sort of got rid of Rajas and Tamas, and where only the Sattva, Ati Sukshma Vritya, Susukshma Vritya, the very subtle thought, Jnatavyam. See, though it is said it is not possible to know the self, here it says Jnatavyam, it can be known. So how can it become an object? No. That is why it is said, you get a sort of intuitive idea of what is self. That is what? Intuitive. So that there is no doubt afterwards. Then you abide there comfortably without fear of losing anything. That intuitive insight is called as Jnatavyam here. So technically speaking, it cannot be known only through the mind. But practically speaking, a glimpse of it or an idea of it is gained through intuitive. That kind of that kind of an equipment called intuitive understanding. And then you abide there. You lose everything and then you just abide there. That is how it is explained in the Vedanta Shastra. So therefore Samadhi is important because only there you develop this intuitive vision. Otherwise in our day-to-day activity we are so clouded with so many things that subtlety is gone. Mind becomes very extrovert and gross. So when it is introvert and very subtle, then it gains an intuitive vision. It knows, yes, it is. And nobody can shake the faith. It knows it is. And then it abides. So that is a bridge I told you, between the known and the unknown. The Atma, the self is unknown. The world only is known. So there should be a bridge, and this Susukshma Vritya is the bridge. So through it only you cross. And then when you cross, you don't need a bridge anymore. Is that not so? So Susukshma Vritya also goes, everything goes, and only the Atma remains. Yatha suvarnam putapaka shodhitam tyaktva malam swatma gunam samruchati tatha manasattva rajastamo malam Dhyanena santyajya sameti tattvam. Yatha suvarnam putapaka shodhitam. Tyaktva malam swatma gunam samruchati. Tatha manasattva rajastamo malam. Dhyanena santyajya sameti tattvam. See? Yatha suvarnam. Like the gold, putapaka shodhidam, is put in the fire and purified. So why the gold is put in the fire? To purify it, to remove all the impurities. So tyaktva malam, so it gives up all its impurities. Swatma gunam samruchati, it shines in its own glory. What is its swatma gunam? To shine. Gold means it shines. Yeah. So that is why people are crazy about gold. So even after so many years, the shine remains. You know, otherwise another metal. Actually it's another metal. Is it not so? Like iron only. If you go and ask a scientist, he will explain to you what is a gold. For him it is nothing but, you know, molecules are arranged in a different manner. But we say, gold. Now they say platinum. I don't know what is that. Oh, platinum. It is not enough if you gift gold. Platinum. And I don't really understand what is this platinum. White it is looking. You know, gold, when it is put into the fire, all the impurities are removed. Swatma gunam samruchati. And it shines in its pure, in its pristine purity. Gold. Tata, similarly, manaha. What happens in the samadhi abhyas? Sattva rajam tamo malam dhyanena santyajya. Because of the continuous meditation, it gives up all the tamo and rajoguna, and even it is said sattva. Finally, and it goes beyond. Santyajya sameti tattvam. It merges, the mind merges in the self, or it becomes one with the self. So therefore, this dhyanabhyasa is very much required for what? For giving up this rajas and tamas. What is rajas? The distraction. Vikshepa. No? And what is tamas? Non-apprehension. The veil. Not knowing the self. Both of these should go. And then sattva, sort of peace which you get attached sometimes. Then if there is some disturbance, you react violently. That is not jnanam. Whatever happens, you are firmly established there. Nothing can disturb you. See? We get attached to goodness. Goody. And others we find fault. Holier than thou. These are all the problem of the sattva. To be good is good. But for that you should not think others are all bad. That is not good. See? So all these things are given up, and samupaiti, it abides in the self. See, it is very clearly said in Bhagavad Gita. If you are very keen about this dhyana, this life of meditation, then 2-3 adjustments are very, very important. Very important. Number one, the food habits. It is very clearly said. Mida satviha aharam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has said. Midam means what? Little. Moderation. Satviha means avoiding rajasic and tamasic food. So yesterday also we saw in that picture, Adi Shankara, this Amma was serving only bananas or some sort of fruits. And also some honey she was pouring, whatever she was pouring. I was wondering, ayyo pavangal. Namma puliyan jadama addikirom. Adha. We are eating all tamarind rice, this rice, that rice, sambar sadam, and poor Adi Shankara is eating only fruits. See, that is why he is Adi Shankara. And that is why we are like this. You understand? So, mida satviha aharam. But nowadays you cannot trust and eat fruits also. That is another thing. That is for another day. But now, Mida Satvika Akharam. The balanced diet is very important. Because when we go on eating, the mind becomes manda. You sit immediately after full meal, you cannot sit. Becomes manda, very sleepy. Carb coma, you enter into carb coma. Okay, so you become very tamasic. If you don't eat at all, always hungry, you develop ulcer. See, all those things are there, please. You have to eat properly, nutritiously, mida satvika aharam. That is one thing, that we should have the discretion. And number two is the sleep. See, this is another very important thing. When you don't sleep at all, then the mind is so tired. And the body is also. So you cannot sit with a great awareness. Sleepy you become. Or if you go on sleeping, what happens, you develop some sort of that kind of a somberi, lazy feeling that you don't want to do anything. Forget about meditation. You don't want to do anything. So, இன்னும் ஒரு அரை மணி நேரம் அப்படியே சோஃபாவில் அப்படியே கவுந்து கிடந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். Like that you feel, So, lazying means what? Just doing nothing. That is not the summa iru. That is tamas. Like you don't want to think all that. But it is a very glorious state, Not to think of anything, not to do anything. Sombiyai summa suhamundurangil solveren gathiyar. But for meditation that is not good. You know why? Because meditation you have to sit straight. And now you have to work on the mind. Try to transcend the mind. So that kind of attitude will not help. So the sleep is very important. You have to regulate the sleep. If you sleep by 2 o'clock in the night, then you cannot do anything. Because that is asura vela. You should not be awake after 9:30, 10. Why? Rakshasas only roam around. So we have to go to bed early and try to get up early as possible. Before sunrise. See, that is why it is said, before sunrise. And Brahma Muhurta is, of course, you all know, 3:30 to 6:30, 7. It's called as Brahma Muhurta. But at least before sunrise. And Bhagavan says, whenever you are inspired is the right time for meditation. So, number 2. Number 3, this is also very important. See, we misunderstand. A karma yogi means one who is doing work always. No, he is not a karma yogi. Karma yogi means whatever work he does, he offers unto the Lord. Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam. And he is not hankering after the results. Whatever it comes, he accepts as prasadam. He is karma yogi. So nowhere it is said, you should go on doing this, that. No, not required. Whatever you are supposed to do, you do. Beautifully you do it. And rest you need not. See, some people have got this habit of, putting everything on their head and struggling. No need. No need. If you are a man of meditation, you should keep the activities or the external activities to a minimum. Because when you are very contented with whatever you are having, whatever you get, then your mind will not rush into the world outside to gain more and more. And it is adukkalayam ashashvatam. There is no point in pursuing it. That is called as jnanam, na? So some sort of relaxation also is okay. Relaxation means what? Just hearing some music, some good nice bhajans, some song, all those things. See, always serious, always brahmanishta. Brahmanishta means, see, if you put the mind too much into a corner, it will react, it will revolt. Immediately it will not happen. It should happen naturally. So don't become too, I don't know what, people sometimes they become very grumpy and very serious and always nothing will happen. When you are very stiff, relax, little relax. Be sincere but not very serious. Take it as it comes. See, anyway, The fruit has to ripen by itself. You cannot make it happen, By force, if you do it, it will not work. So, hasten slowly. That is what Gurudev has said. He has written a book also. Hasten slowly. See, hasten means what? Fast, slowly. It's called oxymoron. Two words put together which have got opposite meaning. There's a book, Hasten Slowly, about meditation only. Beautiful book. Hasten slowly. So, these three things are very important. It is in Gita. Very, very, very clear it is. A yogi is a person who is moderate. One who is following the middle path, not an extremist. Some people are there, they diet for 6 days. And the 7th day, they finish off everything. One tub of ice cream they finish. So whatever they have done for 1 month, gone. In one session it is gone. So this is what? Extremism. So edukku naya adipani piya somapane banga. Why should you go on doing this kind of dieting? People are very conscious about their form, their shape. And they diet. And they have a cheat day. They tell themselves, today is my cheat day. They are very proud. Today is my cheat day. I can eat whatever I want. They cheat totally. Whom they are cheating? Themselves. And that will not help. And work means what? Work. And then sleep. It will not happen. It will not help. I know our Swamiji, he used to get up at 3:30 and sit. I don't know, like a statue he sits till 6:30. Every day. Even if he comes back from some sort of somewhere and he comes 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, he gets up. He says that we will finish and then let us see, we will rest. So that kind of a niyama, these great Mahatmas have got, that kind of a discipline. So like that, if we can try, then it is beautiful. For us, the first sacrifice is the meditation, dhyanam, or the puja. The first victim, meaning I don't have time, sorry. I have time for everything. Yesterday, Guruji, in Hanuman Chalita, I forgot to tell you, there he has written a beautiful thought. What these people going to Vaikunta, sitting always, looking at God, won't they be bored? That is how some people ask, na? And Guruji says, you go on looking at your phone, are you not bored? How nice. You go on non-defying, browsing. Are you not bored? So, like that, we have got time for everything, but not for this poor thing called self. So, therefore, we suffer. So, we have to find more time for the self. So, therefore, it is very clear, dhyanina, with the samadhi abhyas, all this rajas, tamas is given up. And then you abide. So to gain that sattva, that's what I was talking. This moderation is to gain sattva. Why sattva? Because the mind has to be aware and not to be swayed by anything. For that it requires so much of, awareness. Vizhiputtanmai. It should be awake and vigilant. If you are little slacking, the mind can take you for a good ride. Light, there is some sort of a tamas or sleepiness, you fall. You fall asleep. And Bhagavan says very clearly, when it goes like this, you are sleeping. I always remember this Mr. Bean, hearing the sermon from the church. Have you seen that clip? What you people. And the way he sleeps, my God, hilarious. So like that, people in the seat of meditation, they go. and then sound meditation. So everybody is, so why? Because the mind is so dull. Why it is dull? Either we have eaten so much, or we have worked and we have tired, we have got so tired. See? Or disturbed by something. See, this disturbance, you know what? When you have big ego, you are easily disturbed. The misery is directly proportional to ego. When somebody says, Swamiji, I am so miserable, you cannot complain anybody. You are the cause for your misery. Why? Because of the ego only we suffer. Why, Swamiji? The other person may be very nasty to you. The other person have got right to be nasty, you have got right to be not disturbed. See, when Buddha was traveling, walking with his disciples for Bhiksha, in one house, the person there was very nasty. He was shouting at him, giving galis. You are looking very healthy. Why can't you go and work? Oh, why are you begging here? Are you not ashamed? Blah, 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 blah. He was going on. And Buddha was so quiet and calm. And the Sishyas were very angry. But since Buddha was not reacting, they also just kept quiet. And after, when they have passed that house, the Sishyas were asking, that person was giving so much of gali, so much of, why are you like this? He said, I have not accepted their galis. Let them give. But I have not taken it to me. I have not accepted it. Meaning it is not for me. See, what a maturity. So, that is why, whatever we value, because of that we would be disturbed. Whatever we value, however wonderful it may be, we would be disturbed. So therefore, our Acharya says very significantly, you have no business to be miserable. Refuse to become miserable. That is his words. Refuse to become miserable. So therefore, the agitations of the mind. So all those things. So just to sit quiet and to focus on anything becomes almost an impossibility. And the mind throws so much shit from within, garbage from within. We don't know where to go, what to do. So we should not run away. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Is that not so? It is there part of the military, military training. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So more the agitation, more the turbulence in the mind, we have to fasten our seat and sit quiet more and more. Because for turbulence always you have to fasten your belt now. So you have to dive deep. So this is what we have to try. 363. Nirantarabhyasavashattadhittam pakvam mano brahmani liyate yada tada samadhi savikalpa varjitaha swato dvayanandarasanubhavakaha nirantarabhyasavashattadhittam pakvam mano brahmani liyate yada tadha samadhi savikalpa varjitaha swato dvayanandarasanubhavakaha nirantara abhyasavashat. By the continuous practice, abhyasa, practice, ittam manaha, this mind, pakvam, becomes very mature and becomes very ripe, and brahmani liyate, and it gets merged in the self by the continuous abhyasa. This mind gets merged in the self. Meaning what? What is the meaning of merged with the self? Tada samadhihi savikalpa varjitaha. So in this samadhi what happens? Savikalpa varjitaha. Meaning it is no more with vikalpas. See, this is the exact translation. Varjitaha means no more. Savikalpa means with vikalpas. What is vikalpam? Vikalpam means what? Bheda buddhi is vikalpa. What is a Bheda buddhi? The idea that I am the meditator and I am meditating upon something. This is vikalpa, the Bheda. You understand? So what is Savikalpa Samadhi? On the day our Satchidanandaji was talking about. Na? What is Savikalpa Samadhi means? You practice this meditation and the mind becomes very quiet and single pointed, but still somehow the ajnana remains that I am the meditator who is meditating upon. Still that duality is maintained. I am the meditator. I am meditating upon something. I am trying to reach somewhere. This idea of vikalpa, the bheda between the meditator and meditated upon, is still intact. But samadhi, why do you say samadhi, savikalpa samadhi? Mind is so quiet. Mind is so quiet, but still there is a notion that I am, and there is something to be achieved. Or the Brahma Tattvam is there where I have to merge or somehow I have to become one. This is there actually. This duality is there. Savikalpa varjitaha means what? There somehow, like the salt doll going into the ocean to measure the depth, the ego melts and the meditator melts. He is no more and he feels nothing. He doesn't even want to know anything or want to reach anywhere, because he enters into a state, a dimension where there is nothing and it is blissful, and where there is no vikalpa of the bheda between the meditator and meditated upon, whatever it may be, Brahma Tattvam or whatever it may be. That complete oneness is called nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa ho gaya. But still, this nirvikalpa samadhi also is minds. Why? See, it is not the Atmas. You know why? See, this is what is explained by the great masters. You sit for meditation and continuously meditate. So what happens? From mind which has got this Bheda buddhi of I am different and something else is there to be known or where to reach, and then it reaches also. But when it comes back, when you get up from the samadhi or when you get up from the seat of meditation, once again the same. Once again same means what? Once again you see the world outside. Once again you are there as an egocentric personality. But still some seed of ajnana is there. But when this nirvikalpa is practiced again and again, when it strengthens, even the last vasana is burnt, it is said, roasted. Then what happens? Then comes the awakening. What is the awakening? It has been always like this and it can never change. This is it. And then for him, whether he is sitting in the samadhi or transacting in the world, absolutely there is no difference in his state. That is called as sahaja. So he is completely one with the self, that is not disturbed because of the vyavahara, or he doesn't feel a special peace when he is sitting in the samadhi. So this is sahaja. So therefore, as the waking, dream and deep sleep or the minds Similar samadhi also is of the minds only. Because Atma needs no samadhi. Because Atma is never distracted by anything, because it is always one without the second. Only Jiva needs a samadhi abhyas, and he enters into samadhi. And then he feels only when he is sitting quiet in samadhi, he is all right. When he comes out, he becomes once again disturbed. So there is a transition period, And then he knows the self means what? It is never disturbed by anything, because in its own glory there is nothing other than the self. This is complete awakening. So therefore, nirantara abhyasa vashat iddam manaha pakvam manaha, which is very ripe and very available, matured, brahmani liyate. It gets merged in the brahmani, that brahma tattvam, which is the self. Tada samadhihi savikalpa varjitaha. There it is not along with the vikalpa, it has become nirvikalpa. Meaning the bheda of the knower and the known, the meditated and the meditated upon, goes. And then swataha advayananda rasa anubhavakaha. Swataha means by itself. Advayananda rasa anubhavakaha. Advayananda rasa means what? That non-dual existence is bliss. That it enjoys, and who enjoys? The mind only enjoys, but there is no mind. It enjoys means what? That is realized somehow. Then the question, who enjoys? Then we have to say, the susukshma vrittaya, all those things. But those hair-splitting argument is not required. There is only bliss. That much we understand, it is enough. You go there and see who is enjoying, who is not enjoying, what is happening, all those stuff. So there...
Bliss is not ecstasy or joy. It is alak shanti, they say.
That's what. Alaka means no world, nothing. Alaka shanti. Lok means is alak, they say is alok only.
Alata.
Not lata and lapa. Alok only.
Alaka shanti.
Adu vera. Alata shanti is like this sparkler. When you stop it, there is nothing. So when the world disappears, when the ahankar also disappears, there is nothing. That is bliss. True, what you are saying is right. That is, it's not mind's business. It is beyond mind. So the total infinity, or where there is no conditioning. That is what? Now always there is some conditioning there. There no conditioning. So it is bliss, total. So therefore, then the ananda anubhavakaha, advayananda rasa anubhavakaha, it enjoys that bliss which is infinite. So for all this, what we have to do? The mind has to abide in the self. For the mind to abide in the self, it has to give up all the external. Is that not so? See, this insight is very rare. Please listen carefully. See, the idea that there is a world outside gives rise to the idea of the self, or idea of the ego self. So, or the idea of the ego self gives rise to the world outside. So both rise and subside together. So when you sit with an attitude, udal ulahu vittu, meaning giving up the body and the world. When you sit like that, when the body and the world is removed from the consciousness, automatically the ahankara is removed. So what remains is the self only. Now also, even now also, there is no world, but we are imagining it. Therefore ego is asserting. Even now, actually the body or the world is not. Therefore ahankara is not. There is only self. Even though you function in the world outside, the truth is there is no world, nobody is functioning. There is only self. So from your consciousness, when the world is removed, no more ego personality. So through the study of scripture, contemplation, if you realize that this world is manomaya and this mind has got no meaning, then you don't give any value to this world. When you stop giving value to this world, the ahankara dies its natural death, and that is self. So everything is intertwined, This ahankara and this world is intertwined so much. You give up one, the other is given up. If you sit with an attitude that there is no world, there is nobody, this is what is explained in Devika Alotra. That shunya, mahashunya, that meditation on shunya. There Bhagavan, he has translated that, Agama Shastra, Devika Alotra. So shunya, meditation on shunya padam means what? You meditate, there is nothing. Is that not Buddhistic sort of? Why are you so allergic about Buddhistic way? What are people say? Is it not Buddhistic way? So let it be. Why? Buddha also is a great realized saint. What is your problem? These Adi Shankara people have got some problem. Oh, it is Buddhistic way. For what? So what? You want self, you want the truth, or you want Adi Shankara's way, the truth? No. They are scared. They are allergic about certain things, It is said very, very beautifully, it is said, this mahashunya padam, when you meditate on that, mahashunya padam, meaning what? There is nothing. If you sit with the idea that there is nothing, everything goes.
So nothing is the object.
Don't worry about object. There is nothing now. Nothing. You sit and meditate that there is nothing. Nobody, there is nothing. Oh, object, subject, there is nothing. You try this. Don't worry about the subject or object now. In this way of meditation, shunya padam, there is nothing. You sit that way. Anyway, the self cannot be negated, na? The true self cannot be negated. Don't worry, it will never be negated. By Buddha coming and telling the self cannot be negated. Or Adi Shankara coming and asserting it won't be restored or retained. Self is beyond Adi Shankara or beyond Buddha. Don't worry about the self. Okay? Nobody can take it away. It will not vanish anywhere. Oh, I self is subject or object. Shunyam solringle. Don't worry. Self will not be negated. It can never be negated. Okay? Let it be like that there. Now, in the meditation, you sit with an attitude, there is nothing. I am also not there. The world is not there. No experience. But experience happens. It is all chumma. But nothing is the truth. Like that you sit. Sarva shunya padam. Then everything goes. But you sleep also. Because that is how is our experience. When there is nothing, mind goes to sleep. Is that not so? But don't sleep. Be awake. And be in that attitude. What is attitude? Be attitude. There is nothing. Just sit quiet. There is nothing. No need to worry about anything. And there is no moksha, no bandha. There is nothing. You need not reach anywhere. You not prove anything to anybody. Just sit. Why can't we just sit quiet? There is nothing. See, this meditation also leads you to the ultimate. This meditation leads you to the ultimate. See, after so much of meditation, if Buddha had come and said, there is no self, true self, then he is not an enlightened person. Because the truth of the matter of the fact is, the real self cannot be negated, howsoever it is tried. So nobody can negate it. What he says is no thing. It is not nothing. So you should understand. When he says nothing, it is no thing. No thing. It is not nothing. It is no thing. There is no object to perceive there. Nothing, no thing. So that is what it means. So when you sit like that, havikalpa varjitaha, everything subsides. Oyume, munnir nadi polum oyume, Bhagavan says in Pancharatnam. What he says? As the river going and merging with the ocean. What is the meaning? The river loses its name and form and it becomes one with the ocean. No more it is called as Ganges. See, in Ganga Sagar, in West Bengal, the Ganges goes and joins the ocean, called as Ganga Sagar. So no more it is called as the Ganges, it is ocean only. So it loses its name, loses its form, and it becomes one with the ocean. Similarly, the mind loses its name and form and merges with the self. Only the self is, no more the mind. And the awakening is, this is the twist. The awakening is, the mind was never born. The idea that it was born and has merged and all also is part of our imagination. Like the ghost was never born.
Imagination is mind, no?
Yes. He is now this pig's tail.
Yeah.
Mind is imagination, imagination is mind. I can understand your difficulty because I also had certain difficulty, but when everything is given up, all these doubts are gone. Okay, that is how we have to manage it. There is no other go. Mutta vandada, koli vandada, mutta vandada, koli vandada, na ennadan serudhu. So, what happens? The ghost, when you are seeing it, it is there. And then when you realize the post, initially you feel happy. The ghost has gone and merged with the post. There is only post. But what is the truth? There was only post always. Ghost was never born. So this is Ajatavadam. Gaudapada's Ajatavadam means what? Nothing was created ever. The mind was never born. My dear, it is not that you have done your sadhana and then you have merged the mind with the self. Everything has gone inside, only the tail is hanging around. See?
But were they contemporaries? Buddha and Gaudapada?
I don't know. Don't ask about historical question, I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
So the thing is, everything is gone but not the tail. Meaning not that, it was never born. The mind was never born. The ego was never born. The world was never created. அப்பா எப்படி சமயம் உங்களுக்கு மனசு வருது இப்படிலாம் பேசுறதுக்கு? சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழில் முழு பூசணிக்காயை சோத்துல மறைக்கிறதுன்னு. So you know pumpkin? Pumpkin is how big it is. Can you conceal it within your soru, within your rice? You are eating rice. Right? And if they cut the pumpkin and they make a kutu, a sort of a gravy out of it, then you can conceal it in your rice. But if it's a muru pushanikai, a pumpkin is served to you, can you conceal it within your rice? You cannot. So this is like concealing the pumpkin in the rice. அது தமிழ்ல சொன்னா அழகா இருக்கு. முழு பூசணிக்காயை சோத்துல மறைக்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க. அது மாதிரி the world is there to see. It is huge. How can you say the world was never created? Who is talking this nonsense? When the ahankara is not, when the world is not, when nobody is there, who is talking this nonsense? Nobody. இதெல்லாம் சும்மா ரொம்ப ஓவரா இல்லையா சுவாமிஜி? அப்படின்னா எல்லாம் ஓவரா தான் இருக்கு. I am not saying this. Our teachers have been telling this. And they had got the daring to say, everything is unreal. Even the Shastras are unreal.
You come and go, no? World.
Ghost has come?
No.
Then? Svata Advayananda Rasa Anubhavakaha. Therefore, meditate, meditate and meditate. Samadhinanena samasta vasana Granter vinasho kila karma nashaha Antarbahisvat sarvata eva sarvata Tayeva sarvadha Swarupa visfurtir ayatnatasyat Swarupa visfurtir ayatnatasyat Samadhinanena samasta vasana Granter vinasho kila karma nashaha Antarbahis sarvata eva sarvada Swarupa visfurtir ayatnatasyat Samadhina anena, by this samadhi abhyas, samasta vasana grantaha, granter vinashaha. See, this vasana is here referred as granti, the knot, mudichu. So all the vasanas, samasta vasana grantihi vinashaha is destroyed. And then what happens? Akila karma nashaha. All the action, karmas are also destroyed. Why? Only because of the vasana there are desires. Only when you are prompted by desire, you act in the world outside. Actions. So when the vasanas are destroyed, his mind is so prashantam. It has no sort of pressure from within to gain something, to achieve something, or to do something. The desires are only pushing us in the world outside. Completely no vasana, no desire. Therefore, his mind is not even rising to do something. So that is how Bhagavan was sitting. He was telling later, I was not in Mauna. Actually, I was not in Mauna Vrata and all. Mind was not rising to say anything. See how beautiful it was. So we also observe Mauna Vrata and we dance, Abhinayam. All those things. And you write in paper, slate. I also used slate when I was in Mauna. Write. Swamiji, பேசியலாமே Swamiji. என்ன செய்யுது 3 வருஷம் எடுத்துட்டேன். Go on writing.
One day in a week we will observe Swamiji Mauna.
Huh?
One day in a week we will observe Mauna.
Yeah, you observe. Who stopped you? Observe, please observe. Every day you observe, that will be wonderful. Maunam kalaham nasti. And nobody is disturbed, we are also not disturbed. And you become a saint. Mauni Baba, and then they will build a temple for you. Oh, Ramanayudu Mauni Baba. Varapadu. Yes, next shloka is that. Yeah. So, Grante Vinashaha, Akila Karma Nashaha. So, all the karmas are destroyed. Then what happens? Antarbahihi, inside and outside, Sarvata, everywhere, Sarvada, all the time, Swarupa Visfurtihi, that is only the self that alone shines, Ayatnataha, without any effort, Ayatnataha, effortlessly. So what happens? When all the vasanas are destroyed, then the self shines very clearly, without any obstruction, Pratibandha Shunyaha. So it shines very clearly, without any obstruction, inside and outside. There is nothing called as inside and outside then. Everywhere, there is nothing called as everywhere. All the time, there is nothing called as time. So self alone shines. Ayatnataha is very important. There is no effort there. Effortlessly, by itself, it shines. And there you are. That is Ananda. When there is total peace and there is nobody, Ayatnataha, when it shines, that is bliss, real bliss. Even if you imagine that, it is bliss only. Shrute shatagunam vidyan mananam mananadhapi nididhyasanam lakshagunam anantam nirvikalpakam. See how simply it is stated. Shrutehe, than listening. Shruti, Shravanam. Shrutehe, than listening, know that Mananam Shatagunam, contemplating on the reality 100 times it is beneficial. Just only listening will not help. So here our Shankara is saying, Acharya is saying, see, Vidyan means what? Please understand, Mananam Shrutehe Shatagunam. Contemplation is 100 times beneficial, more productive than only listening. Mananadapi nididhyasanam lakshagunam. So the nididhyasanam or meditation on the self, that is better than the even contemplation. Lakshagunam, 100,000 times. Laksha means 100,000. See? 100,000 times. And nirvikalpam, anantam. And what about nirvikalpa samadhi? Practice of nirvikalpa samadhi, anantam. It is infinitely beneficial. So it is very clear now. No point in chumma listening, especially listening to everybody, Tom, Dick and Harry. Whoever passes that side, I will listen. So you become professional satsangi. Go on listening. It doesn't make much difference. You become totally confused if you listen to everybody. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to your heart, at least. But contemplate on it. Contemplate means what? Try to learn from your experiences. Our Acharya repeats it again and again. Nowadays he repeats it infinite times. Learn from your own experience. Again and again contemplate, understand, and more than that, abide. Meditate on it. Live that truth. That is Laksha Gunam. That is 100,000 times better. An ounce of practice is better than tons of preaching, says Swami Shivanandaji of Rishikesh. An ounce of practice is better than tons of preaching. So meditate, meditate, meditate. And then this nirvikalpam is anantam. It is infinitely beneficial. There is no comparison. Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.